How's it, guys? We're on Shane's farm today. We're going to be trying to test or validate my 6.5 Creed out to about 950. In my last video we did it out to 400, but it's just not quite far enough to really, true up your BC or speeds or whatever. So yeah, it's a perfect day for it. I'm coming to Shane's farm anyway to film a hunt for him later on this afternoon. Thought I'd take the time now, quickly set up this massive gong. Rather too big than too small in this case for when you're validating, but yeah, setting up this massive gong. I'll show you now where we will be shooting from, our shooting position. But yeah, we're going to try and, or just we being myself, I'll go sit on the other side of the hill and shoot a few shots at I think it's 950. We'll confirm that now. And yeah, we've got a slight wind, I think, blowing over this way, but I don't think conditions can get better than this really. Might have a bit of mirage to play with, we'll see in the trigger cam now. But yeah, let's give it a bash, see if we can get a first round impact. That's always fun. Should be able to on this big plate. But yeah, alright, see you soon. My finger in the frame here. That copy over there, that one over there, the highest one you can see. Wait, I lie. Not the highest one, that one. So that's going to be our shooting position, and we'll be shooting out to here. See if we can get some hits on this big white gong. We call him Big Chief. He's a 750 by 750 Benox 450 gong, so not hard as steel, but definitely adequate for this range. Cool, we'll see you on the other side. I left my rangefinder at home. Fun. However, downloaded this app, something off the App Store. So what it's going to do, it's going to drop a pin here on the GPS, and then we will drop a pin on the other side, and it should give us our distance. So first time using it, so I'll drop my pin here at the target, and we'll go and see what it says on the other side. Alright, we've made it back to the other side. The calculator that I was using, the tape measure app that I showed you before, it told us I was far off with 950. It's not 950, it is 1121 meters, and I think I am going to be subsonic at that distance. Let me check. 1000 meters, I'm pretty much subsonic under these conditions. So maybe, yeah, that's where that Match King's BC is maybe letting me down a bit. But anyway, let's see what happens. I'll show you now where we're shooting to. The wind is, as luck will have it, is picking up a little bit. But anyway, we'll make it work. It's always fun to shoot. So yeah, I'll show you through the trigger cam what it's all about, and I'll show you my stray lock, how we set it up. Yep, I see it. Alright, let's get all the stray lock business out the way. I'm going to do a screen recording so you can see what's going on when I'm working with stray lock. Okay, so going into stray lock, I will first go to punch in my distance. That seems quite obvious, which was confirmed at 1120 meters. Alright, our shooting angle is pretty dead. We have a slight wind, I would call it, let's start with 5k an hour from left to right. That is all correct. The weather, I've got another app that I use. I don't have a Kestrel, but what I do use, which is quite close, is this density altitude app. It's not for free, I did pay for it, but it usually gets us pretty close. There you can see I've got Kirkwood, which is just around the corner. Got a density altitude of 979, temperature of 29 degrees. So 29 degrees, I'm going to punch that in. and 979 density altitude. Right, calculate. That changed things a hell of a lot, from 9.4 mils to 12.4 mils. So let's see where I'm subsonic. 1100. So I'll be supersonic. No, I won't be supersonic. But anyway, so that you can see that red there is where I'm going subsonic. But alright, so what does it tell us? We've got to come up 12.4 mil. Remember that I've got an offset of about 0.6 half a mil at 100 meters up. So this won't be 100 meters zero. So we're going up 12.4 mil. Let's dial the old bushy out there. 12, that's 10, 11, 12, 4. Right, parallax pretty much 1,000, I suppose. We'll check that through the eye. Okay, for windage is telling me left 1.3 mils. Sounds like a lot. I'm going to hold it in the scope just to give you an idea of what 1.3 mils looks like at this distance. Alright, I think that's done for Strelok now. To make sure that the trigger cam is rolling. Let me have a look. Alright, it looks pretty level. I am getting a bit of vignetting here on the trigger cam. Should be alright, I hope. Alright. Cool. I'm not very comfortable on the rocks, but it is what it is. Let's see what we can do. Alright, that's quite far. Cool, so we're going to be holding 1.3 mils of wind into the left. Okay, let's record. That looks good. Okay, 12.4 mil elevation dialed. 1.3. I'm gonna hold him on that line. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. The mirage is quite bad. Left. I feel like the wind has changed, but alright, let's go. Saw the dust. I did not actually see where that was though. Going to zoom out a bit so that I can see what's going on. I feel like the wind is coming from right to left on this side. I'm actually just going to hold dead center of the gong and see what happens. Okay, wow, it's quite a bit high. That is 1.5 mils high. Interesting. Why would that be? Okay, well, 1.5 mils high is quite a lot. I'm going back to Strelok. I'm going to change this density altitude. I'm going to see if I take that off, what happens. 13 mils. That's even more. Okay, well, something's not right. So maybe that's the BC that we need to validate. So let's go to this. I'll do some screen recording again to show you this process. And we're rolling. Alright, so I know the speed, I've verified that. However, I need to validate my BC. What I could see was that I was about 1.5 mils high where the dust was going. I'm going to hold under before I validate that BC. I'm going to come down 1.5 mil. So that's 1, 2. We're on 11 mil now. I'm going to send another one before I validate. Just do that. It does look a little bit left, so I'm going to hold 0.5 mil to the right edge, or 0.5 mil. Okay, that's better. A lot more wind. It's about 1 mil wind out there, but we are on about 11 mils of elevation. We are closer. Alright, we're holding 1 mil of wind. 1 mil of wind. Mind you, I'm going to hold 1.3. Okay, that was right. 1.3, and I would say 0.5 mil, so 11.5. Looks like 11.5 will get us on the plate. 1.3 was the perfect wind hold. You saw that splash, and now I need to come up 0.5 mil, so 11.5. That's why we use a big plate. Well, that's why I use one. Okay. 1.3, 11.5 mil. The wind is a bit switchy. Okay, height is good, height is good. Wind is bracketing between, I would say, between 7.7 and 1.3. We are shooting through like 3 valleys here. Okay, we're on shot number 6. Let's see if we can hit this thing. I'm going to hold it at 1 mil, and let's see, 1 mil. That's it. Glorious. I don't know where on the plate that is, but I'm going to keep that elevation, and I'm going to just send. I'm actually going to just maybe wait a few seconds, let my rifle cool a bit, and then have another crack. Okay, so we're back. It's been a few minutes. I'm going to give it another bash. Kind of want 4 or 5 shots on that gong to see the average vertical adjustment. So we're sitting on 11.5 mil of elevation, and we are sitting on about 1 mil of wind, bracketing I reckon between 0.7 and 1.3 depending on the wind. So I'm going to hold a safe 1. It's not so much about the wind that we want to see now, it's more about the drop, the actual true drop at this distance. So nice to have a nice big target to allow for that wind change. Alright, here we go, scope level, righto, holding 1 mil of wind, push that, that'll help. Okay, 1 mil, here we go. Way off. Jeepers, 1 mil was putting us, there was almost no wind on that. Okay, I'm going to send another. Taking that last wind call, I'm going to hold on the plate. Okay, that's on, so we're going to keep that wind while we've got no wind there. I'm going to send in another 2. got wind again. Not easy. Not easy. Half mil. Okay, half mil. You can see the impact of the wind. Gracious. Gonna hold half mil again. Okay, it's good. And I'm going to send one last one at 0.5 wind. Nope. Okay, last one. The wind picked up there again. Holding 0.7. Alright, let's call that. It's a bit hot in here. I'm going to call that and have to go have a look, see what's going on there. Yeah, we'll have to have a look and see if I'm hitting high, low, wherever on that plate, and then make the necessary adjustments or calibrations on the app. I'm going to save some of my ammo for maybe a bit of fun later. But for now, that should give us enough information, yeah, to kind of calibrate our drop. The wind, it feels like there's no wind up here. It's hard to 30 degrees. It's definitely pushing around over there. I mean, when I put the gong up, it was hardly a breath of wind there either, but wow. Helps to have a good BC, I suppose. These ones, BCs on these Match Kings, are okay at best, but yeah, it does push around a little bit. Shooting a small gong would be pretty tough, but mind you, I am subsonic at that distance, so another factor to consider. Maybe I should probably validate on a distance that is closer or in my supersonic range, maybe 900 meters. This may be too far. Anyway, it's a good. We are shooting King of 1 mile next month, and things aren't looking good, but let's see what we can do. Okay, so here we are. Don't know if I want to show you guys, but it's not looking so fresh. Not looking so fresh. So clearly you can see there's quite a lot of vertical dispersion here, and then there's obviously the left horizontal, which is, I think, the wind mostly. It is gusting up here now. Yeah, could be many things, I suppose. From, you know, it's on the transition from supersonic to transonic, so it's going below the speed of sound. It's could be powder, which I don't think it is, because it shot really well at the 100 and 400 meters, but who knows. And it could probably be me. Definitely. I mean, recoil management is pretty much exaggerated, or the errors of recoil management is exaggerated at this distance. So yeah, I don't shoot this distance often. It's very unusual to shoot this far, but at least I know, yeah, more or less. So another thing that I got to do my homework on is these Cero's published BCs are banded G1 BC, which is probably not ideal for extreme long range. This is probably say extreme long range for my shooting skills, but for long range or where you're going subsonic, G1 BC is not the best model to use. G7 is great, but also not perfect. So a custom drag model or personal drag model is obviously pretty much as good as we can get. So I think perhaps there was a mil discrepancy here between my initial 12.4 mil versus the 11.5 mil elevation dial. So that BC could be a BC thing. It could be that the app that I use to measure the distance is out, but I don't think so. It says it was accurate to 5 meters, but who knows? We'll double check with the rangefinder or on Google Earth. I believe that's pretty accurate. So I think it comes down to finding maybe a custom drag curve for the G1, for the Sierra Match King bullet, the 140 grain. I haven't really looked around for a G7, but I'm going to go back to the office and see if I can find any published information regarding perhaps a G7 or a custom drag profile. I might need to get Brian Litz's Applied Ballistic app or something where I can find a better ballistic coefficient representative for this bullet. But yeah, I'm going to try and see later this afternoon, maybe we can shoot a little bit closer inside my supersonic range, see if I've got more consistency than that dispersion. I mean, that is call it half a meter worth of vertical dispersion. So if we were realistically shooting, I think 2 MOA gongs ish, I don't think I would have done very well today. And conditions, I don't think conditions get much better than this in real life. The wind is hardly blowing up here. The mirage was okay. You could see through the trigger cam if you back it out a bit from 30 to like 25, 24. Yeah, it was definitely fine. So yeah, back to the drawing board. But at least you got to see the exercise, kind of the idea of validation and how important it is. Strelok is not always going to tell you exactly what you need, especially the further out you go. It's always worth coming here or wherever you have access to, as far as you have access to, come and validate and make sure that you actually hit where your app says you're hitting. But for educational purposes, I'm going to show you later, I'm going to try and show you how I validate. If we take the BC thing aside, just the G1, I'll show you how to validate on Strelok what it would be. So yeah, a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. Yeah, so maybe we get some footage later of shooting supersonic, maybe not. Cheers.